Welcome to The Explainer. You know, in today's world, a single tech decision can literally make or break a company. So today, we're going to dive deep into the playbook that separates the winners from the losers: IT governance and cybersecurity. These are the twin pillars of modern leadership.
This image, it really says it all, doesn't it? The modern business world is just this tidal wave of digital change. It's thrilling, for sure, but it's also incredibly dangerous. So you got to ask, who, at the very, very top, is actually steering the ship?
And yeah, that question, it takes us right to the heart of things. We're basically walking into a digital minefield. Every step forward offers this incredible opportunity, but it also carries a potentially company-ending risk.
I mean, on one hand, you've got these unbelievable, game-changing technologies that are creating value like we've never seen before. You know, blockchain is completely rewriting the rules of finance. Autonomous vehicles are about to transform logistics. Bioengineering, it's pushing the absolute boundaries of medicine. The potential is just massive.
But, and this is a huge but, for every single one of those amazing opportunities, there's a new threat lurking in the shadows. This digital world is a hunting ground. And we are not talking about minor glitches here. We're talking about sophisticated, targeted attacks that can shatter a company's foundation, costing millions and just erasing years of trust in an instant.
And what's kind of wild is just how many different ways these attacks can happen. It's not just about guessing passwords anymore, not by a long shot. You've got social engineering, that's straight up psychological manipulation, like a fake email from the quote-unquote CEO asking for a wire transfer. Then there's ransomware, which just locks up all your data and demands a fortune. And sometimes the scariest part is the biggest threat is already inside your walls.
So how in the world do you navigate this digital minefield? Well, look, there's no magic wand here. The only way through is with a solid strategic framework, and that is built on the two pillars we're talking about today: IT governance and cybersecurity.
So let's start with IT governance. Think of it as the central nervous system for a company's technology. This definition from Harvard Business Review is just perfect. It's the framework that lays out who gets to make decisions and who is held accountable. It's all about encouraging the right kind of behavior when using tech.
And this right here illustrates a super important point. Good governance means you treat your company's information and its IT assets with the exact same seriousness as its cash or its real estate. The board's big picture strategy has to be directly connected to the technology that actually powers the business. There have to be clear lines of oversight.
So why does all this matter so much? Well, because technology isn't just another line item on a budget. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's also woven into the very fabric of the entire business. And when you govern it correctly, it transforms from just a necessary expense into a powerful engine for growth and success. Okay, so that's the big idea, right? The theory. But how does this actually work in the real world? How do boards and directors actually put this stuff into practice? What are the concrete steps they can take? Well, it all starts by asking the right questions. And look, this isn't just a job for the CTO or the IT department. Every single director needs to adopt this mindset. It's about taking real responsibility for the health of the entire organization in this digital age.
And these questions right here, they really shift the whole conversation. It's no longer about simply having technology. It's about strategically managing it. Questions like, hey, is IT a permanent fixture on our board's agenda? Or are we scrutinizing these big tech investments with the same rigor as any other major spending?
So to get those answers, boards really have to roll up their sleeves and take some concrete steps. That might mean educating themselves to get their own tech competency up to speed. Or it could mean creating a brand new specialized committee that is solely dedicated to technology oversight.
Now, what's really interesting here is that there's no single right way to do this. Research actually shows there are four main models for how boards engage with tech. For a software company, yeah, a regular full board discussion might be perfect. But for a bank, a formal tech committee is probably a much better fit. You see, it really depends on what kind of business you're running.
And here's the bottom line, the thing that really matters. This isn't just about good corporate hygiene. The data is undeniable. McKinsey found that companies with a dedicated board tech committee had operating margins up to 6% higher than their competitors. That is a huge, tangible financial payoff. We're talking real money. Okay, so let's shift gears and look ahead. The next great challenge. It's already here. And it's governing the most disruptive technology of all: artificial intelligence.
So leaders really need to wrap their heads around two different kinds of AI. On one side, you have generative AI. Think ChatGPT, which creates brand new content. Then on the other side, you have agentic AI,
which can actually act independently to get tasks done all on its own. And both of these present completely unique governance challenges.
With generative AI, governance is all about setting very clear boundaries. What are we using it for? How do we manage the risks of misinformation or copyright issues or bias? It's really about creating smart guardrails that allow for responsible innovation.
Now, for agentic AI, which can act on its own, the focus shifts completely to accountability and control. How can we explain the decisions it makes? When does a human need to step in? You absolutely must have protocols for human oversight, especially when the stakes are high.
So, what this all really boils down to is a massive shift in how we think. We are moving into an era where technology is no longer just a tool that a business uses. It's becoming a teammate that it partners with. And just like any good partnership, that requires clear rules of engagement.
And that leaves us with one final and I think pretty provocative thought. As AI becomes a teammate in practically every business on the planet, who is actually writing the rules for this new partnership? Because let's be clear, the leaders and the companies who can answer that question, they're the ones who are going to define the future of business in a world run by both humans and machines.